When I Fall by Scarlet Emerald 32. Chapter 49. Talisa shot a quick look over her shoulder as she walked through the woods next to Michonne. Her eyes found Carol, who was walking beside Daryl a few feet behind them, and she looked from her back to Michonne as she spoke quietly.
Are we absolutely sure about this? You know I'm not doubting her abilities. I'd put Carol up against anyone, but...
I know, but how was I supposed to take away her chance to face down the woman who killed her son? If it were me, nothing would stop me.
Me too, but I was under the impression this was about de-escalating the situation if possible. I just don't see that happening with her here.
I guess we'll see. We're here.
They stepped out into a large field. In the gathering darkness, Talisa saw the poles spaced evenly in a line across the crest of the hill in front of them, and tried her best not to look at the red stains on the top of each. Carol walked slowly up the hill to stand in front of the pole at the far right. Daryl walked up beside her and put a gentle hand on her shoulder.
You good?
She nodded.
Heads up,
Laura said, from Talisa's right, and they all looked out across the field. They appeared slowly out of the dark, at least a dozen, flanking Alpha on either side. The woman herself walked a few feet ahead of them, and Talisa had never seen anyone quite like her. She was completely bald with pale blue eyes rimmed in black. Probably dirt, she realized. She was of average build, slightly overweight, and wore filthy, ragged clothing, but she carried herself with a sense of dignity and power that couldn't be denied. They all made a point of holding up their weapons, lowering them slowly to the ground, and stepping away from them. She walked up to the group and looked slowly around at each of them before she spoke.
There was one rule between our people.
Talisa was shocked by how high and soft her voice was.
One law. Stay where you are. And yet you disobey.
That fire would have destroyed your land too.
Fire's nature to burn. We have no conflict with nature.
the fire was threatening to wipe out one of our communities. We couldn't sit back and let that happen. I'm sure you can understand that.
Alpha turned her gaze to her and cocked her head to the side as if analyzing her, but didn't answer.
We crossed one time.
3 times.
Alpha's attention snapped back to Michonne.
During the fire, you walked in my land. During the winter storm, you walked my land. And during your search along the river, you and the man with the metal arm walked my land. That's 3 times.
She scanned them all again.
What did I tell you about crossing my border?
She paused, letting the tension build.
You have to be punished.
Talisa's heart skipped a beat as several of her minions unsheathed knives, but Alpha held up her hand.
But I do consider context. There will be no bloodshed this time.
So what do you want then?
Land. The creek that winds into the valley, that is your new southern border. We will mark the new border to the north.
That'll cut off our hunting grounds.
We don't have to stand here and listen to this.
Carol took a step forward.
Carol, no.
Michonne warned, and Daryl put a hand on her arm to hold her back.
This is bullshit.
That's it. Come on. We're done.
Daryl attempted to turn her around and take her back to the woods.
We're not.
Alpha was looking at Carol now.
Not until this one lowers her eyes to my feet.
Carol looked back defiantly into her face. After a few more seconds, Alpha seemed to smirk in amusement.
You should fear me.
I don't. I look at you and I feel nothing at all.
Is that right?
Alpha took a step closer as a cruel smile played at her lips.
The blonde boy? He screamed your name just before we took his head.
Rage flashed across Carol's face, and Talisa saw her reach for the waistband of her pants. She realized a second too late what was about to happen. She tried to call out to her, but it was no use. Carol pulled the gun and aimed it at Alpha's head. Then a gunshot went off just as Daryl tackled her, shoving her to the side and holding her back as she screamed in anger. Michonne held up an appeasing hand towards Alpha.
I apologize for my friend. We have not slept. And you know what she lost.
Alpha looked calmly over at Carol as if she'd simply lost her temper and said something insulting, not attempted to murder her.
I forgive you. Mother to mother.
She looked back at all of them.
This is my land now. You better run.
Let's go.
Daryl pulled Carol towards the woods as they all hurried back the way they'd come. Once they were on the right side of the new line Alpha had designated, they stopped for a rest. Michonne built a small fire, as the temperature at night was still a little chilly. As Talisa warmed her hands, she watched Michonne walk to the edge of the clearing and begin to speak quietly with Carol. Whatever was said lasted only a few seconds before Carol walked off angrily. Michonne watched her go, and then came to take a seat next to Talisa with a heavy sigh.
I'm guessing she's not in the mood to talk.
She's not in the mood to do anything but kill Alpha the first chance she gets.
She ain't been the same since she got off the boat.
Daryl took the seat on Talisa's other side, looking darkly in the direction Carol had walked.
Maybe she was better off on it. At least she had some peace, you know?
She belongs with us.
I agree, but that doesn't mean she's not struggling.
She ain't sleeping. She's out all night looking for them.
Any idea how she's managing that?
Daryl sighed deeply. It was obvious he was wrestling with wanting to take care of his friend, but also not wanting to betray her trust.
Pills.
We talking over-the-counter caffeine tablets or prescription stuff?
The second one.
That's not good. The only kind of drugs that could keep her up for that long are probably some kind of amphetamines. And they'll keep her awake, but they'll also heighten her emotional responses, raise her blood pressure, and make her highly paranoid and reactive.
I'd say she's reactive enough without any help these days.
Exactly. Not to mention, if she's gone as long as Daryl said she has without sleep, she's likely to start hallucinating soon as well.
Lovely.
Suddenly, 3 gunshots rang out in the woods to their left.
God damn it, what now?
They all jumped up and ran towards the noise. They found Carol in the trees a few hundred yards away with her gun still raised.
What happened?
Whisperers. 3 of them.
All right, walkies on. Split up northwest, and we'll take east.
Talisa and Michonne headed in one direction, while Daryl and Carol and Jackson and Laura headed in others. After a few minutes, they all made a circle and met back up in the same spot.
No sign of them anywhere, no traces, no tracks, nothing. You sure you saw 3?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Talisa noticed Carol slipping a pill bottle back into the pocket of her coat.
Carol, how long have you been taking the pills?
Since I got back,
She rolled her eyes slightly when she saw the expression on Talisa's face.
it's fine. They're like coffee.
Carol, those pills are not...
I said it's fine.
Listen, we can't stay out here. I say we find a place with walls, take a break and regroup. Get a couple hours of sleep.
Fine by me.
Carol pushed past them and began to walk back in the direction of Alexandria. They found an abandoned school a few miles down the road, and after a quick sweep to be sure it was safe, they set up in one of the classrooms. Michonne turned to Laura and Jackson.
You 2 stay down here. Keep watch on this door, and we'll get the far one.
You got it.
I'll take first watch.
Carol walked away from them towards the far door, going through it and closing it behind her. Talisa noticed Daryl watching her go, his eyebrows knitted together in a hard expression.
You're really worried about her, aren't you?
Been a long time since I seen her this bad.
He slid down to sit against one of the walls, still staring at the door Carol had exited through, and Talisa sat down beside him.
You really think being out there alone was better for her?
I don't know. She seemed free, I guess. But she was just running away from everything.
He sighed and leaned his head back against the wall, looking up at the ceiling.
She asked me to go with her, you know. Right before everything went down with the satellite. Said we should just take off together and not come back. Wanted to head for Mexico.
How come you didn't?
Mostly 'cause all that shit went down right after. And then with Alpha's horde being gone, Felt like we needed to stay, and she agreed. She said she did at least. But honestly, I don't think I'd have gone either way.
Oh yeah? Why's that?
Daryl looked over at her.
'Cause running away from your problems don't change them, right?
Right.
So you think maybe you could talk with her? Figure out what's going on in her head or whatever it is you do?
Talisa pulled her knees to her chest and wrapped her arms around them.
I could, but honestly, I'm not sure how effective that would be right now. I can only help people work through their shit if working through their shit is something they want to do. I can't force them to confront their issues. Carol has always been a complicated one. She doesn't open up easily, and right now, I'd say she's about as locked down as she's ever been. Which means the only people who have a chance of reaching her are ones who've already got their foot in the door.
Daryl shot her a smirk.
That's your fancy way of saying it's all up to me.
Pretty much. Sorry.
He chuckled and shook his head.
Nah, it's okay. I kinda figured.
Talisa had just finally begun to doze off about an hour later when she was awoken with a start by someone screaming. She jolted awake and realized it was Carol, and she was screaming for Daryl. She was on her feet running in seconds with the others beside her. It took them a few minutes to locate her, but when they did, they found her in the gymnasium with a pile of walkers around her.
What happened?
There was a snare. Walkers came, and I had to take them out, but I fell on some glass when I cut the rope.
Talisa ran over to look at her arm, which she was clutching tightly.
That's in there pretty good. We can't take it out here. There's a chance she may have nicked an artery. We gotta get her back to Sadiq and Dante, and fast. She's losing a lot of blood.
It took them another hour to make it back to Alexandria, and by the time they got there, Michonne and Daryl were supporting an almost unconscious Carol between them. Talisa breathed a sigh of relief as they reached the gates and found them mercifully walker-free. The others seemed to have taken care of the latest wave. As soon as they were through the gates, they headed directly for the infirmary.
Doc, get out here.
Daryl yelled as they got close, and after a few seconds, Sadiq threw open the door.
What happened?
She fell. Cut her arm real bad.
Okay, easy.
They laid her on the exam table, and Sadiq and Dante set to work cutting back her sleeve to examine the wound. After a few more seconds, Sadiq looked up at them.
I'm gonna need you all to leave.
You sure I can't?
I appreciate it, Tal, but too many cooks. Dante and I have got this.
Okay.
She, Daryl, and Michonne headed back out onto the porch to wait.
She's gonna be okay, Daryl. They're both great at what they do, and it's not too serious. Here, with the right tools, they should have her patched up in no time.
Did I hear correctly that one of your party was injured?
Eugene and Rosita had walked up onto the porch from the other end. Both were filthy, covered in dirt, blood, and other things Talisa didn't know the origin of. Despite that, she walked quickly over and wrapped her arms around Eugene, hugging him tightly and leaning up to give him a quick kiss.
No offense, but you two look like shit.
That's what 6 straight hours of walker dispatching will do to you.
Rosita shot an affectionate look sideways at Eugene and smirked.
He was a total badass out there, Tal. Kept up with me hit for hit. You would have been proud of him.
Doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
Talisa gave Eugene a smile and squeezed his hand.
The kids?
That Barbara's slumbering without a care in the world, along with Coco. But back to my previous query. Who was injured?
Carol, she fell and...
Her words were cut off as Dante and Sadiq walked out the door.
She all right?
Sadiq seemed confused. He shook his head slightly as if to clear it.
She,
He got it out.
Dante stepped forward, patting Sadiq's shoulder as he did.
Great. Now, speaking of out like a light, why don't we all follow suit?
Now, hold your horses there. Before we all return to our respective domiciles for some seriously overdue shut-eye, there are a few matters that need discussing. First and foremost, what happened out there? You indicated that Carol took a fall that resulted in her injury, which would lead one to believe it is unrelated to your parley with Alpha.
Yeah, it was.
So then could you possibly expand briefly on the outcome of said meeting for those in the group who were not privy to its content?
Not much to say. She knows we came into her land, both this past winter during the storm and for the satellite. She has graciously
She let the word hang heavy with sarcasm.
forgone any bloodshed for the time being, but in punishment, she's now expanded her territory to include our hunting grounds and everything south of the creek.
Oh, like hell she has. If that ugly-ass bitch thinks she can...
I know, but we're all too tired to make any rational plans right now. When's the next wave supposed to hit us, Eugene?
No new waves incoming for the time being.
Good. Anyone who slept for more than a few hours at a time in the past 2 days is officially on lookout. Everyone who is on the line is ordered to bed for a minimum of 6 hours. We'll regroup tomorrow and decide what our next move is going to be.
There's one more thing you should be aware of. And it sucks to have to tell you now, but you need to know.
Of course there is.
Michonne sighed heavily and shook her head.
What is it?
Aaron went out to hold the south line, and he took Negan with him. They're not back yet.
What? Why the hell would he go out there with him alone?
The only means of defense we provided Negan with was a sharpened stick. I suppose Aaron figured his training and superior weaponry would suffice if Negan had the notion to attempt an attack. In truth, they are only a few hours past their estimated return time, so I would reasonably give it until morning before true concern should be warranted.
Okay, fine. We'll talk in the morning. Hopefully by then they'll be back. Now I'm going to bed, unless anyone else has more stressful news for me.
No one spoke, so she nodded and sighed.
Perfect.
She walked towards her house without a backwards glance.
Oh my god, this bed has never felt so beautiful.
Talisa flopped down on top of her duvet, unable to summon the energy to even crawl underneath it. Eugene chuckled as he lay down beside her and pulled her into his arms.
We've had quite the eventful past few days, haven't we?
Understatement of the fucking century haircut.
They mustered just enough energy to climb under the blankets and turn off the bedside lamp, plunging them into darkness. Talisa snuggled in and rested her head against Eugene's chest, where he absent-mindedly ran his fingers through her hair.
So what transpired with Carol that resulted in her injury? I got the feeling that both Daryl and Michonne were dancing around the specifics when I questioned them.
Carol's not doing very well. She still hasn't dealt with what happened to Henry, and she's using some very problematic tactics to cope.
Such as?
Not sleeping, taking pills to keep her alert so she can go out hunting for whisperers all night.
Oh, yes, I can certainly see why you would classify that as problematic. Am I right in theorizing that the combination of sleep deprivation and whatever pharmaceutical cocktail Carol is currently self-prescribing has resulted in the onset of hallucinations and paranoia that was likely the cause of her current ailment?
You are indeed. You hit the nail on the head, actually.
Have any propositions been made as to what we might do about the situation?
Not as of yet. I think we're currently adding that to the list of things we need to address once we've all had more sleep.
Understood. At the risk of overburdening that already full-to-bursting agenda, there's one more issue I think needs to be addressed.
Oh boy, what now?
Sadiq.
Oh, that. Yeah, I know. He's been getting flashes of what happened during the fair ever since they found the skin mask at Oceanside. It's a pretty natural progression if you think about it. Being confronted with one of the worst things that he's ever witnessed, again. His brain was never going to be able to repress all that shit forever. I'm keeping tabs on him, I promise. I'll get him through it.
I have every confidence you will, Doctor.
Eugene leaned down to kiss the top of her head.
Now, can we please get some sleep? Because our kids are going to be awake at dawn no matter how exhausted we are.
Copy that.
They both settled into their bed and were unconscious almost immediately. The next week passed in a haze. Life went on as usual on the surface, but everyone could feel the strain. Aaron and Negan had turned back up the morning after their meeting with Alpha, with the story that they'd been pinned down, and Aaron had run into a walker infested with hogweed, a plant whose sap could cause temporary blindness. Aaron had told them that Negan had helped him return to camp, and they had no reason to disbelieve him. But Talisa had a feeling there was more to the story. While no more herds had attacked the gates, the looming threat of Alpha could be felt across the entire community like a dark cloud. Talisa and Eugene were sitting on their front porch watching their boys play hopscotch on the cement as Michonne walked up the road towards them.
What's up? I don't like that look on your face.
We just got word over the radio. A tree came down at Hilltop, took out part of their fence. They've got walkers coming in, and not enough people with the skills necessary to get it fixed.
I'm guessing that means we're sending them some backup?
Yes, we are.
And I'm guessing my engineering knowledge and practical skills as far as the construction and upkeep of our own walls are concerned has rocketed my name to the top of the list for said assist.
Right again.
How long are you thinking it's going to take?
Well, we have to clear the walkers and then the tree, and then help with the rebuild. I'd say with all hands on deck, we're looking at a week, at least.
Talisa sighed heavily and looked over at Eugene.
There's no way I can justify leaving the kids for that long, especially with this one still nursing.
She looked down at her daughter sleeping peacefully in her arms.
Looks like you're on your own for this one, haircut.
Are you certain? If I embark on this mission, you'll be on your own with 3 youngsters for a minimum of a week's time. I have no desire to place that amount of responsibility and stress on your shoulders, especially at such an uncertain time.
I'll be fine, Eugene. Ro will be here to help out, and Sadiq. We'll get it done.
On that same vein, if it's not too much trouble, do you think RJ could come stay with you? I'm bringing Judith along, and I know he'd be much easier about it if he knew he got to come and have a sleepover with Teddy and Lincoln.
Sure. More the merrier. When are you planning on heading out?
In the morning, planning on around 9, after everyone's had time to pack and have breakfast.
Sounds good. Just bring him over then and we'll get him settled in.
Since no one else seems eager to voice this, I suppose I will take up the mantle. First, an unholy legion's worth of ambulating cadavers pummels our walls for days on end. Now, a fallen tree has breached Hilltop's defenses as well. I hate to say it, but the correlation seems too significant to ignore.
I know, but for now we just have to wait and see how it plays out. It's still possible that it is a coincidence, no matter how unlikely.
The next morning, Talisa stood by the gate as they loaded the wagon and put her arms around Eugene's neck.
You realize this is the longest you and I will have been apart since we got married.
Yes, I am aware of that unfortunate fact. And rest assured, I plan to rectify that particular predicament the minute Hilltop's defenses are once again secure.
You better.
Talisa grabbed the front of his shirt, pulling him down so she could give him a long, hard kiss.
Ew, gross!
Teddy complained, and they broke apart chuckling as they looked down at him. Eugene scooped his son up, resting him against his side and smiling.
Theodore, one day, many moons from now, it is my dearest hope that you meet a girl who is in all ways just as remarkable and unforgettable as your mother, and then, my son, you will understand why kissing your best friend is in no way worthy of your disgust.
No way! Girls are annoying and yucky.
Talisa and Eugene both laughed at that.
Daddy, I want to go with you. I'm big enough now, and I'm brave enough. I won't get scared if I see a monster.
I know you wouldn't, buddy, but this outing is one with high pressure and even higher stakes.
But Judith gets to go.
Teddy looked sulkily at her in the wagon.
Judith has a few years on you, sir, not to mention a fair amount of weapons expertise.
He ruffled his son's hair.
How about this? If you do your old man a favor and hold down the fort here at home, Help your mama and look out for Link and Cece when I get home. Me and Ro will take you out and start teaching you some fighting techniques.
Teddy's face lit up.
You mean it? You promise?
I surely do. You uphold your end of the bargain, and I assure you I will hold up mine.
Gentleman's agreement?
Teddy held out his hand to Eugene, who grinned.
Yes, sir.
Eugene shook his hand and then pulled him into a firm hug.
I love you, buddy.
I love you too, Daddy.
Eugene put Teddy down and turned to Lincoln, who reached up for him. He swooped the little boy up in his arms and hugged him tightly.
I'm gonna help Mommy too.
Never had a doubt you would, little man. I love you.
Love you, Daddy.
As Eugene put him down, he turned back to Talisa and cupped his daughter's head gently in his hand, where she was wrapped tightly to Talisa's chest. The baby squirmed slightly and looked up at him.
Hey, Cece girl, you be good for your mama too.
He leaned down and kissed the top of her head, and then kissed Talisa again. She put a hand against the side of his face and smiled.
Go on, get out of here. The sooner you go, the sooner you'll get back.
He walked over and hopped into the back of the wagon next to Jacob. The gates opened and the wagon slowly pulled forward.
Love you, haircut. Always and forever.
Yeah, always and forever, Daddy.
Eugene grinned and blew them a kiss as the gates shut behind them. Teddy turned and looked up at her.
Mommy, can I go play with RJ? We were gonna go feed some of the old vegetables to the pigs.
Sure you can, but take Lincoln with you.
Aw, Mommy, do I have to?
Teddy whined, but she gave him a pointed look.
Don't want to hear it, mister. You take your brother or you're not going.
Fine. Come on, Lincoln.
And be nice to him.
She made her way back up the road towards her home, but she was distracted by the group of potential fighters Aaron had gathered. After Alpha's latest threat, it had been decided that people needed to be trained in how to specifically fight her and her whisperers. As Talisa watched, Lydia walked by and a few of the trainees noticed her.
Hey, Lydia.
Gage, one of the teens who'd come in with the highwaymen, grabbed the burlap sack they'd been using to simulate the whisperer masks and put it on.
You think Mommy will take me in? Oh, right, I forgot. She kicked your ass out, didn't she? Now you're just a freak.
Anger flared in Talisa, and she stomped across the road to where they were standing.
Hey, Gage, what exactly are you supposed to be doing right now? Because I'm pretty sure it's not acting like an asshole. So how about you shut the hell up and focus on learning how to fight the actual enemy?
Who the hell do you think you...
Margot began, but Talisa cut her off.
I'm sorry, did I ask for your opinion? Because I don't think I did.
Margot looked at her in surprise and anger, but she didn't respond.
That's what I thought. Now turn your asses around and get back to training.
The three of them glared at her, but turned back to Aaron. She met Aaron's eye, and he gave her a small nod of approval before continuing. Talisa looked back to where Lydia had been standing and realized she was gone. She walked down the street trying to figure out where she'd disappeared to, and after a few moments she heard her voice coming from a side yard where several lines of laundry were hanging.
You said to kill them with kindness.
I did say that.
Talisa realized with a start that it was Negan.
Look, they're trying to get a reaction out of you. They want to see you upset. Don't give that to them.
Talisa jumped again slightly as Daryl appeared on her left and pushed past her through the sheets.
Let's go.
It's okay. I'm good.
Now.
A second later, Lydia came storming through the sheets angrily and stomped past Talisa.
She's just trying to fit in.
Well, that ain't ever gonna happen if she hangs out with you now, is it?
Daryl snapped back before following Lydia down the road. Negan watched them go and then turned to see Talisa standing there.
He's got a point.
Negan gave a small chuckle and shook his head.
Yeah, he does.
He looked over at her curiously and walked to where she was standing, looking down at the baby in her arms.
Who's the peanut?
This is my daughter. Her name is Cecily. Cecily Rose, actually, but we call her Cece.
Pretty name? Rose for Rosita, I'm guessing?
Yep.
Negan held out a tentative hand towards the baby's head.
Can I?
Sure.
Talisa tilted her forward slightly, and Negan brushed a hand across her soft dusting of hair.
Damn, been a long time since I've been around one of these.
You want to walk with me for a minute?
Talisa turned back down the road, and Negan fell in step beside her as they headed back towards her house.
So what's going on with her, really?
Not much. In any other circumstance, it'd be normal teenage shit. But with her, it's just more complicated.
Yeah, I get that. Why do you think she's coming to you?
Misery loves company. She feels like an outsider here. Guess she figures I'm one too, but Daryl's right. As much as it chaps my ass to say it, being friends with me isn't gonna earn her any brownie points. It's just gonna make shit worse. You think maybe you could tap in for me, Doc? You're well liked around here. Hell, you're the psychiatrist with the smart husband and 3 adorable kids. If people see you with her, she'll be in good by next Tuesday.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Negan gave her a nod before breaking away from her and turning down a side street that led to the townhouses. Talisa saw Daryl coming up the street from the other direction, and she turned to meet him.
Lydia, okay?
Not really. She says he's the only one here who gets her. I've been trying to get through to her for weeks, and now it's him she turns to. It's like she wants to be an outsider.
I don't think she wants to, Daryl. I think it's all she knows. And you have to admit the people here are kind of being assholes. You can't blame her for gravitating towards someone who treats her like a person.
Yeah, I guess. Just wish she'd come to me instead.
What would you have told her? If she came to you? Told you what those assholes said to her?
I would have told her people like that don't mean shit. And she shouldn't let them get to her. 'Cause she's worth way more than that.
From what I heard when I walked up, that's pretty much exactly what Negan was telling her.
You on Team Negan now?
Of course I'm not. I still don't trust him as far as I can throw him, but villainizing him when he hasn't earned it could be just as big of a mistake.
All I care about is making sure she's okay.
Talisa put a hand on his arm.
I know, Daryl. We'll get it figured out.
A few hours later, Talisa had gone down to the corral to collect the boys and took them over to the meeting hall for lunch. People often gathered there at the many tables to eat communally when the weather was good. She'd just gotten the boys settled with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches when she looked up and saw Lydia come in with a bag slung over her shoulder. She walked purposefully to the table where Gabe, Margot, and their friend were sitting. She plopped herself down in the empty seat, and they all looked up in surprise.
Can you give us some room, please?
Lydia ignored her and reached into her bag, pulling out a dead rabbit and plopping it on the table in front of her and beginning to skin it.
Oh my God, what the hell is wrong with you?
You're crazy,
the second boy said. Gage jumped up from the table and looked angrily from her to everyone else in the room.
Is this why Ozzy and Alec died? So she can make a fool out of us?
Lydia looked up at him calmly and raised a bloody finger to her lips.
Shh.
She picked up the rabbit and turned to leave the hall. Daryl pushed his chair back angrily and went to follow her, but Talisa grabbed his arm to stop him.
I got it. Could you stay here with the kids?
Yeah, sure.
Talisa walked out of the hall and down the road. She found Lydia sitting on the stoop of Michonne's house and went to sit beside her.
They deserved it.
They definitely did. But do you really think doing something like that is going to make things better?
Maybe I don't care about making things better anymore. They can do whatever they want, write whatever the hell they want on my door, and no one cares. But I do one thing to stand up for myself and...
Whoa, hold on. Step back. What happened to your door?
Someone painted "Silence the Whisperers" on it. We didn't see them do it, but I know it was them.
That's not okay. They have no right to threaten you. I'll have Daryl set them straight.
No, I can't let Daryl fight my fights for me. I know they want me to give up. but I'm not gonna. I can't.
Good for you. But do your best to avoid them if you can from this point out, okay? Standing up for yourself is one thing. Antagonizing them is something else.
Yeah, I know. I knew that was a stupid thing to do. I just...
got fed up. Believe me, I get it.
Lydia rested her chin against her knees and shot a look over at Talisa.
How come you're so nice to me? You barely know me.
Talisa looked out over the gardens in front of them and sighed.
You know my husband, Eugene? I'm sure you've seen him around.
Yeah, the big guy with the ponytail.
Talisa smiled.
Yep, that's him. Well, back when everything went down with Negan, back when Negan was really and truly the bad guy, Eugene defected and joined up with him, betrayed his friends, and was even the reason some of them died. It took him a long time to earn people's trust back in the end. I'm willing to bet some of the people around here still hold it against him, actually. But if he'd never gotten a second chance to decide what he wanted his life to look like, my kids wouldn't exist right now. I guess what I'm saying is, I judge people based on their actions, not their past. And nothing you've done has shown me anything other than a good person who's trying her best.
Lydia picked at the frayed edge of her pants.
Thanks. Just wish everybody else could see it the way you do.
Give it time. Just keep doing what you're doing and it'll work itself out. I promise.
Just 5 more minutes, please?
Teddy pleaded, bouncing on his bed.
You had 5 more minutes 15 minutes ago. It is lights out for little boys. Understood?
Yes.
As she turned off the light and headed back down the hall, she heard Teddy and RJ still giggling and smiled to herself. She walked to the kitchen and filled the kettle to make herself a pot of tea. The kitchen window was open and she leaned over, taking a long, slow breath, inhaling the cool, crisp air. Suddenly, she heard what sounded like a muffled cry from the darkened yard next to hers. She stared hard out into the darkness, but saw nothing. The noise came again, and she looked back at the hallway where her children were in bed before walking over and quietly opening the door. She crept along the side of the house and into the backyard of the abandoned house next to hers.
Hold her down.
She came around the corner and saw Gage and the second boy who'd been with him pinning Lydia to the ground while Margot stood over her.
What the hell are you doing?
They all 3 jumped back. Talisa dropped to the ground and pulled a sobbing Lydia into her lap.
We just wanted to...
Shut up. This uppity bitch has been defending her the whole time. She wants to throw her lot in with the Whisperers. I say she gets what's coming to her.
Margot stepped forward, aiming a kick at Talisa's face. Talisa pulled Lydia to her chest and tucked her head down, trying to deflect the blow for them both, but it never came. She heard a sharp intake of breath and looked up just in time to see Margot go flying through the air. Negan was standing behind her, breathing heavily as he looked down at them.
You okay?
Talisa nodded.
We were just trying to scare her.
Gage backed away from Negan.
Yo, Negan, what the hell's going on?
Brandon, one of the guards assigned to Negan's detail, walked around the side of the building and looked down on the scene.
Holy shit. Margot.
Talisa looked up and her stomach dropped. Margot was leaning against the side of the house where she'd landed after Negan had thrown her. There was a smear of blood along the wall behind her head, and her eyes were staring blankly into space.
Ugh, shit.
A crowd had begun to gather, and Talisa could hear the murmurs starting.
Should never have let him out.
Just a matter of time.
Gage turned back to Lydia.
You freak, this is your fault.
It was Negan. Negan killed her.
An angry murmur of agreement went through the crowd, and they began to push forward.
No! He didn't do anything!
The crowd pushed in angrily, grabbing at him as Lydia sobbed. Suddenly, Daryl appeared around the other side of the house.
Get him out of here.
He immediately grabbed Negan's arm, pulling him away.
No! Please! He didn't do anything!
Talisa grabbed Lydia's face in her hands and forced her to look at her.
Lydia, I know, okay? I know he didn't, but he can't be here right now. We're going to get it figured out.
She looked back over to where Margot was lying and saw that Sadiq was there now checking her vitals.
Dead?
He nodded.
Okay, I'll take care of her. I need you to get Lydia out of here and check her out, okay? They were pummeling her when I got here.
On it.
Sadiq came over, kneeling in front of Lydia.
Can you stand?
She nodded, and he threw her arm over his shoulder and helped her to her feet.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Listen, if it's not too much trouble, on your way back, can you see if Rosita's up? I need her to come hang out at my place with the kids so I can help sort this shit out.
She was feeding Coco when I checked in on her 10 minutes ago. I'll send her your way ASAP.
When I Fall is a work of fiction based on AMC's The Walking Dead. Any characters not created by the author are the property of said company. The story will continue in the next chapter.